My girlfriend and I have been together almost 3 years. 99% of the time, we're great. She's funny and smart, and we have a lot of shared interests. But every time we visit her family, I start doubting everything. They are very wealthy, but they're also very fixated on being rich and have a habit of placing the monetary value of things and people over everything else. I come from a very middle-class background. I have a good education and a decent career that I really enjoy, but I'm definitely not rich. Because of this, they view me as a loser. For example, yesterday we made the 2-hour drive to her parents in my newish Honda. When we got there, her mom immediately ordered me to park the car behind the house so the neighbors wouldn't see it. She was furious we didn't bring GF's Land Rover, which they bought for her as a birthday gift this year. GF doesn't like to drive on long trips, and I'm not allowed to drive the Land Rover, per her parents, so we brought my Honda. GF's dad has never spoken to me directly. Even when she introduced me the first time, he turned to her and said, "What does he do?" So we went in the house and I gave her dad the usual, "Hi, Merry Christmas," and he gave me the usual disinterested glance. One more example. Last year I made the mistake of bringing a bottle of wine. It was a $25 bottle, which was pricey for me, and I even had the wine store lady help me pick it out. GF's mom told me to put it in the kitchen. They didn't open it while we were there, and she later admitted to GF they'd re-gifted it to their housekeeper because it was gas station hooch. We managed to get through the day without much drama except the car thing, which I'd normally consider a win. But today I keep thinking about the whole situation and wondering if I'm really willing to deal with these people for the rest of my life. GF and I have tossed around the possibility of getting married more than once, but I know they'll never accept me. If we get married, I'll have to see them a lot more than once a year. GF has given up trying to defend me to her parents and just ignores their bullshit most of the time, but I can tell it bothers her too. They bankroll a big chunk of her lifestyle, and I think she's worried they'll cut her off if she pushes too hard. They've threatened to over other things. So, not to sound like an asshole, but am I wasting my time? Is this relationship doomed? GF always tells me she doesn't care what her family thinks, but I'm not sure that's true. She always tries to downplay how shitty they are to me. But I know I'll never be good enough for them, even if I'm good enough for her. TLDR, my girlfriend's rich parents think I'm a loser. Even though we're an otherwise great couple, I'm thinking about breaking up because I don't think she's willing to risk her financial security to stand up to them, and I can't see this relationship going anywhere if she doesn't. Update. Little did I know that post blew up overnight and made the front page and GF saw it. I didn't give any names/locations, but there was enough specific information that she had no trouble figuring out it was me. So Thursday, while at work and still unaware of all this, I got a dreaded, "We need TO talk" text. Yep, all caps. And I was like, "Welp, I'm dead." She was feeling hurt and angry when she sent that text, but she said she had time to read through some of the comments and think about things, and she wasn't as upset when she came to my apartment later. She brought food. Still, she said I had no right to tell the whole internet about our relationship problems, and I agreed/apologized. She knows I'm writing this update, and she's going to read it before I post. The reason for that being she admitted the internet actually made some good points regarding our relationship problems. We talked for a long time Thursday night. She said she knows her parents treat people like shit and that they control her and her siblings with money. It's partially a cultural thing, according to her. GF was born and raised in the US, but her parents grew up rich in a different country and moved here a long time ago. She said they had a hard time assimilating with upper-class Americans and flaunt their wealth because they're socially insecure. GF also implied that kind behavior was a lot more acceptable in their home country in the 1980s, and they never changed. She grew up seeing them act that way and, at least when she was younger, thought it was normal. On top of that, GF's mom was emotionally and physically abusive. She said her mom used to slap her for talking back, and once cut up all of GF's clothes and bedding after an argument over her going out with some high school friends. GF said she's still afraid of her mom and has a hard time standing up to her. She also got very little affection from her parents growing up. It seems like that was all replaced with material things. So, to her, being cut off from her family financially is the same as being cut off emotionally. All that being said, GF doesn't expect me to visit her parents again. She was very apologetic about how they treated me and also about not calling them out. She was really hurt that I said I thought I was wasting my time in the earlier post, and I said I was sorry, and I am. I was still raging a little when I wrote that. I asked her about maybe letting her parents cut her off financially and living on her own. It wouldn't mean she has to go no contact, but their relationship would be based on something other than money. We've been talking about moving in together for a while now, and she actually suggested she move out of her townhouse that her family pays for and into my apartment. I'm totally fine this. We've been together for almost 3 years, and I think we would have moved in together a while ago if her parents weren't so against it. She's really nervous about being on her own financially, but she's willing to try it. We spent hours yesterday going through her finances and coming up with a budget. It's going to be a big change in how she lives and thinks about things. I'm managing my expectations as far as spending is concerned. No one can change their habits overnight. We're not combining our finances or putting her name on the lease. The plan for now is to split the cost of rent and utilities, and she asked me to put her on an allowance for spending her own money. She also gave me the credit cards her parents pay for and told me to hide them. It's weird to me to have this much control over another person's finances. We're going to give it until my lease is up in March. My apartment is a little small for both of us and all our stuff. And then, assuming all this works out, we'll look for a place to officially live together. She isn't going to tell her parents right away, but she promised she will before March. Thanks, Reddit, for telling me to grow some balls and talk to my GF about her family situation. I did, and I think things are going to get better. Update 2. To everyone who's wondering, her parents are from Mexico. GF has a job and her own income. She is the co-owner of a business and makes a decent living on her own, just not nearly enough to fund the kind of lifestyle she's used to. Also, before you say, she shouldn't have been mad that he posted about their relationship on Reddit, please for 1 second put yourself in that situation. You're casually browsing the front page and find a post about your personal life that was obviously written by your boyfriend and makes you sound like a complete piece of shit. In that same post, your boyfriend says he's thinking about breaking up with you. That's now just out there for the whole world to read. You can't say that wouldn't be alarming. She said, it felt like a slap in the face, which made me feel pretty shitty for posting it at all. All things considered, I think she was pretty reasonable about it. Ultimately, she was cool about me posting the update and actually wanted to make sure I thanked Reddit for the perspective. No, she is not demanding to approve this update. She's just involved now, as she should be since she's half of this relationship,